Hey everybody, CinemaSickness here again to talk to you about what I bought and what I watched today. We're out to Best Buy today, picked myself up 2 Blu-rays. Let's take a look at what I got. Both of these titles I ended up paying only $5 for after using a $5 Best Buy Reward Zone coupon. The first title I picked up was Time Bandits. As you may have remembered, just this weekend I watched this movie. I absolutely loved it. It was only my second time ever seeing it. The last time I saw it, I was a little kid, so I was basically going into it brand new. Thought it was a great movie, absolutely loved it. So I do already own this movie on Laserdisc, but even though I love collecting Laserdisc and I love to have movies on Laserdisc, I still like to have all those movies on a newer format, whether that's DVD or Blu-ray. So definitely want to get myself a Blu-ray copy as well, just, to go along with my Laserdisc copy. I'm not getting rid of my Laserdisc copy, definitely still keeping that, but wanted to have a newer format as well. So definitely had to pick this up for $5. It was a great deal. And the second title I grabbed was Scenes from a Mall. Simply getting this one just to replace my VHS copy. I've yet to watch my VHS copy, so now they have it on HD, I'll definitely be checking it out. So that's it for what I bought today, so now it's what I watched. And today I checked out The Fourth Kind. Yeah, it really wasn't that great of a movie. It was okay, but in the end, not all that great. I basically picked this movie up because I had heard reviews of people saying that it's the scariest movie they've ever seen. This movie did get mixed reviews though. Some of the people were saying it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but I just kind of assumed that since enough people were saying this movie was completely horrifying, that it would at least be a decent story. I didn't go into it expecting it to be scary. I didn't think I'd be scared. I just thought it was going to be very mediocre, and that's definitely how it turned out. So that was kind of a shame, because I at least thought it was going to be, at least a decent story, but in the end, I thought it was just very mediocre. It really wasn't all that great. And one of the things that really bugged me about this movie, and it seemed to bug a lot of people, there's a lot of people online actually talking about this, is that there's an opening scene by Mila, and she is talking to the audience, and she's saying that this movie is, it's a bunch of dramatizations of real events, plus real actual footage mixed in, and that's what this movie basically is. It's a bunch of dramatizations of, actors, doing the scenes, but they're supposed to be a real event, and also, there's mixed in, actual real footage from like psychiatry sessions and footage from like police, like cars and news stations and things like that. But I knew better than that. As soon as she said this is real footage mixed in, I went, really? Especially when the girl playing the main girl in the movie, is supposed to be real footage of her. I recognized her. I thought that girl looks familiar. I think I've seen her in something before. So, of course, I looked it up. And no, all the real footage, it's not real. It's actually completely fake footage done with actors. That drives me nuts. It's one thing if you go into a movie and they I don't know how to say it. It's kind of like the Blair Witch. You're supposed to think it was real, but you knew better going in. It's not real. This, the fact that they talk to you in the very beginning of the movie and say, this is real footage, and it's not, I wasn't cool with that. If they would have just done the movie and, you would have been like thinking it was real footage, but they never would have said this is real footage, you just were led to believe it, fine. It's one thing to be led to believe something, or even if they would have said this is like based on true events, because, when it comes to based on, they could be like, well, the main girl in this movie had teeth, and the person who the story's based off of also had teeth. That's how loosely based some movies are. So, if they would have just said it was based on, or just led you to believe the footage is real, okay, I could have gotten behind that and been like, well, they never actually said it was real, you were just led to believe it, okay. But for them to come out right in the beginning of the movie and be all really serious and have Mila talking to us, and you're talking to the audience and says, this is real footage of real events, and blah, 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 only to find out that that's complete BS and it's not real at all, that actually really bugged me, and I wasn't cool with that. I thought, they really shouldn't have done that. So we got that problem. And then the first half of the movie, it's kind of boring. It really doesn't do too much. They spend way too long sort of setting up what's going on and setting up the characters, and it's really flat, really boring. It's not until the last half of the movie, the last like 45 minutes, that it does pick up a little bit and does get a little bit more exciting. But in the end, it's not that great. It's not a very good abduction movie. That's what this is, basically. It's an abduction movie. It's about all these people in Alaska basically being abducted by aliens. That's basically the story. It's about the psychiatrist who, she notices all these people are coming to her saying they're seeing all these things. She puts them under hypnosis, and they basically relive the events, because apparently the aliens somehow stop you from remembering being abducted, but you kind of these weird sort of thoughts, so they all go to the psychiatrist, and she puts them under hypnosis, and in the hypnosis, they end up remembering these events, and they're screaming and yelling and going all crazy, and it doesn't work out too well for them in the end after they remember these events. So that's basically the gist of the story. And of course, stuff starts happening to the psychiatrist as well. She's apparently abducted. Her daughter's at one point abducted. Apparently her daughter has never been found. The aliens abducted her and took her away, apparently. So that's what it is. And it is based off true events, apparently. But who knows how loosely based. I mean, you never know with this sort of thing. So in the end, I wasn't really all that taken back. I thought it was... I just thought it was sort of boring. I really couldn't get all that into it. I just thought it wasn't very exciting. I mean, an abduction movie should be a lot more exciting. I mean, we're talking about aliens abducting people. That's pretty cool. That's pretty... that definitely opens you up for a very exciting movie. But this one, it just felt kind of drab, and I wasn't all that excited by it. I did think it was a sort of boring movie, and I just thought it could have been a lot better done. And also, like I said, it really bugged me that they're trying to tell you the footage in this is real when it's obviously not. A quick search on the internet will tell you that. So definitely kind of bummed out by that. So in the end, I would say, it wasn't the worst we've ever seen. It was okay. It was mediocre. It wasn't that great, but I can't say it was a bad movie. I didn't think it was bad, but I didn't think it was good either. I just thought it was okay. It was something to see for an hour and a half, but in the end, will I watch it again? I don't necessarily see myself checking this one out anytime again. I don't see myself watching this soon. Basically, maybe years and years and years down the line, I'll check this one out again, but no time soon will I be watching this. So I would definitely say if you really want to see this movie, if you're really interested in it, maybe you've been thinking about it for a while, you really want to check it out, give it a rent. I would say rent it, decide for yourself. If you really had no interest in this, maybe you saw it a couple times and then maybe I'll check it out, maybe I won't. No, don't. I really wouldn't recommend it. I don't. That's the thing. I don't recommend the movie for those people who really have no interest in this, really never thought about even seeing the movie. You just come across it, for $5, something like that. No, you're probably not going to like it. It's not really worth picking up. But if you have been interested in it, if you did want to check it out, maybe, I think it's came out in 2009. Maybe you missed it in theaters. Maybe you're really wanting to see it. Maybe you're really interested in this sort of things. You're really interested in alien abductions. This is your kind of movie. I'd say give it a rent first. Don't necessarily buy it. If you have Redbox or a Netflix or something like that, give it a rent. If you're really into abduction movies and you find it for $5, I wouldn't say pay any more than that. I'd say no more than $5 for this movie. That's the highest you should go in this. If you're really into this sort of thing, fine, pay $5. But in the end, just give it a rent. So I don't know what people were talking about either. This being the scariest movie they've ever seen, I can understand how alien abduction could be scary. Definitely, I get that. I mean, yeah, you could definitely do a very scary alien abduction movie. But this one, there was really nothing all that scary about it. There was a scene where the main girl in the movie, the lady in the movie, she's listening back to a recording that apparently she took while she was being abducted that she didn't even remember taking. There's a little bit of creepiness there because she's screaming like the top of her lungs into this recorder while everything's happening. That's a little creepy just because because you're not seeing it. That's one thing. You're not seeing what's going on. You're picturing in your head this lady being abducted by an alien. So they always say it's what you don't see is scarier. And in this case, yeah, she's screaming into the microphone or the recorder. What's going on. She's being abducted, and the scream sounds really genuine, a really frightening scream. So I'd say that part, which only lasts like a minute, was a little creepy. But besides that, there's just nothing really scary about this movie. They don't show, and I don't want to say they don't show you enough, as in like they don't show you the aliens and the abduction or anything. But they don't really show you enough of people being abducted. There's nothing really to be scared about. And again, I know what I just said about what they don't show you is more scarier, but they don't really even talk about it necessarily enough. There's not enough about the alien abduction to make you get scared. You're basically watching a lady trying to figure out what's going on in a town, and a cop all pissed off at her because he thinks she's hurting these people by putting them into hypnosis, and it's not enough. There's not enough about alien abduction in this movie to really scare me or really get me all interested. So I'm going to stop talking about this movie because I've rambled on way too long about a movie that I didn't find all that exciting. So in the end, I say if you're really interested in seeing this, at the most, give it a rent. If you're really, really into alien abduction movies, if you really think you're going to like this, want to pick it up, don't pay more than $5 for it. Keep it at that. And if you don't have any interest in this movie, if maybe you've been on the fence and you're thinking, do I want to see it, do I not? Don't. It's not exciting. It's a very mediocre hour and a half. So The Fourth Kind, can't really recommend it. I just thought it was mediocre. So that's it for what I bought when I watched today. Very happy to pick up Time Bandits on Blu-ray. Probably won't be watching that one anytime soon since I did just watch it this weekend, but eventually down the line, look forward to watching it in high def. Scenes from Mall, like I said, I have it on VHS. I'm replacing my VHS copy and haven't watched that one yet, so definitely looking forward to checking that out. And The Fourth Kind, I just really didn't care for all that much. I thought it was very mediocre, wasn't really scary, could have been a much better movie. Also didn't like the fact that they blatantly lied to us in the beginning of the movie. That really wasn't cool. So in the end, I just say give that one a rent if you're interested. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to see what I bought and what I watch tomorrow. See ya. It's not to mention the girl who plays Mila's Mila's playing a person supposed to be in real life, and even though the girl who they play, fuck.